What's up, everybody? It's your boy King Hussle, and yes, this is the best money and credit channel on YouTube. So make sure you subscribe and hit the all notification bell. So whenever I drop new sauce, new lessons, new methods, and giveaways, you will be the first one to be notified. You will be the first one to know what's going on, and hey, you might be the first one to win something for free. So make sure you subscribe and hit the all notification bell on all the YouTube channels. I'm talking this one right here, King Hussle. King Hussle X1M, no rags, just riches. King Hussle crazy reactions. The Hussle family turn motivation into means. Dog pounders out of pups, goosebumps for a story, sleeping with the rain. Milwaukee made King Hussle 2.0, and King Hussle Live. Also, make sure you follow me on my Twitch, King Hussle Live. I do all my freebies and giveaways from there. So make sure you guys follow me and subscribe to all the YouTube channels and Twitch, so you won't miss out nothing for free. No free content, no free giveaways, IRL streaming, dual streaming, just pure entertainment. All right. Also, make sure you follow me on all my social media platforms. All you gotta do is click the title on every video. Once you click the title on every video, the bottom of the description, all my social media links will pop up. Alright, got a lot of fake King Hussle pages out there, so please get a FaceTime verification call or video to make sure you can see this face. Make sure you are doing legit business and you are getting what you paid for, alright? And before we get anything started, this is all educational purposes only, not telling anybody to do anything, so let's get this thing started. What it do, my real King Hussle fans, supporters, subscribers, my real Hussle Nation Empire family members. And we are back at it again with the gems, back at it again with the sauce, back at it again with the information that's going to turn you into a boss. So you tired of being a zero, you ready to be your family hero? Listen up, take a seat, get your notepad and get your pen. Because you already know when I drop these videos and drop these gems, there's going to be some information that's going to help you win, alright? And in today's video, we're going to be talking about the top 12 common bank fraud. Yes, it's a lot of bank fraud going on nowadays, a lot of credit card fraud, a lot of credit fraud going on, it's a lot of fraud going on in general, right? So today we're talking about the top common 12 bank fraud methods, or what people are doing, how you can prevent them and be safe from them, and you know, just be aware, because there's a lot going on, right? So without further ado, let's get into the gems. All right, so the first common scam or method or scheme that people use when it comes to credit and bank fraud is identity theft. Now, identity theft happens when criminals steals a person's important personal information, like their name, address, bank account number, social security number, national identification number, so on, driver's license number, or credit card information. This information then is exploited for the use of purchasing or acquiring goods or service online. Many of the ways people fall victim to identity theft is by accessing phishing mails, data breaches, dumpster diving, and mail theft, to mention a few. To tackle this menace, you need to protect your personal information, use strong various passwords for online presence, and ensure that you use protected browsing. So, identity theft has been one of the leading go-to scams in the scam fraud world, especially when it comes to credit. People are buying people's credit information off the internet, stealing them all different type of ways, getting new profiles and running up loans, credit cards, and lines of credit, and doing a lot of different things, getting cars, getting homes, doing a lot of different fraud schemes. All right, so identity theft is number one on the top 12 list for doing fraud. All right, so the next one we got on the list is card fraud. All right, this happens when criminals obtain the information of someone's credit or debit card and use them to purchase or pay for goods and services without the owner's knowledge. This information could be gotten from hacking into the victim's online accounts, or physically stealing their cards in a pickpocket or bag snatching operations. You could safeguard yourself from being a victim of your card fraud by using only secure online websites for your trading. Not sharing your card information, protecting your physical cards, and ensuring that you properly inspect ATMs for skimming devices. So card fraud, a lot of people, like I told y'all, it's a lot of ways people get credit card information and steal credit card information. Dark web, skimmers, you got people that work in these banks. It's a lot of different ways, and a lot of people make duplicate cards and do a lot of different things when it comes to credit card fraud or any type of card fraud. All right, so card fraud is number 2 on the list. Then we got phishing. So phishing happens when criminals send malicious communication to unsuspecting victims, either as emails, texts, or pop-up messages. This communication is meant to obtain their sensitive personal or financial information on opening or clicking on links in the communication. The criminals plant malicious software on the victim's device, which steals their personal information for the criminal to exploit. Not opening unknown or unverifiable communications, securing your browser experience, stay away from public Wi-Fi's, and not being greedy enough to act on get-rich-quick communications online is a way to avoid being a victim of phishing bank fraud. So a lot of people are getting these text messages and calls from a lot of potential spam and tollaways and bank account this and that. So many different spam and calls and emails have been going out because a lot of data breaches has happened, and a lot of these hackers have gotten people's iCloud information, just a lot of information. They send these spam calls and text messages out, and people are falling for them. So be safe, be more cautious, and be more aware of those fishy text messages. All right, so on the fourth on the list, we have account takeover. Now, this happens when criminals completely gain control of a victim's financial account using malware or phishing tactics. They then go ahead and use the account to make unauthorized purchases or transactions. Some even go as far as locking the victim out of their own account and changing the information on it for their own use. You can avoid being a victim of this type of banking fraud by consistently changing or using strong passwords on your accounts. You can also use multiple factor authorization and add any extra layer of security to your account. Alright, so a lot of people are doing an account takeover. A lot of people are going on the dark web and getting certain credentials and information that's allowing people to steal other people's information and do certain things. All right, so account takeover is another one that's on the rise. Be safe, be cautious, and be aware when you are doing that. Okay, so fourth on the list, we have check fraud. All right, so this happens when criminals use fake or counterfeit checks to steal money from an individual or a business. In many instances, criminals target many accounts compliant loop with a little check amounts. They withdraw the money fast and are gone before the bank finds out that they are phony. One way to prevent this kind of fraud is to ensure that that one of them secures his checks in a safe place, does not share their account information with others, and monitor their accounts regularly, checking for the reporting suspicious activity. Also avoid helping people to cash checks. It might just be yours. All right, so check fraud has been on the rise. Check fraud seems to be the go-to fraud and scam, along with identity theft. A lot of people have been robbing mail carriers. A lot of people have been having people work in the post office. A lot of people have been robbing the mailboxes. It's been getting real. It's been getting serious. So if anybody out there, I wouldn't be sending out checks through the mail, and I wouldn't be dealing with checks too much anyway. So checks is tricky and a lot can happen. All right, so be safe and cautious about that. Accounting fraud. Accounting fraud happens when banks and other financial organizations intentionally manipulate financial statements to misrepresent a company's financial health. It involves overstating revenue, understanding expenses, misstating assets, hiding transactions, and manipulating liabilities. This basically is lying to give the impression of a thriving, successful business. To keep this from happening, banks must have a strong internal control system, promote ethical behavior among employees, being vigilant and reporting offenders to the authorities. All right, so accounting fraud is more of a white-collar crime. You kind of hear about that with higher-up businesses. So 7, loan fraud. Here criminals deceptively provide false information to a bank to apply for a loan. They use other people's identities to apply for a loan they normally do not qualify for. It is also the usage of false income details or fabricated assets to apply for a loan in the bank. To prevent loan fraud, individuals must be cautious about sharing their personal information. Financial institutions can also prevent loan fraud by regularly monitoring application credit reports. People who are seeking a loan must also verify the legitimacy of lenders. They can also be alert in suspicious loan offers. Both banks and individuals should report any potential fraudulent activities to the appropriate authorities. So loan fraud is definitely on the top list when it comes to credit in today's world, especially after COVID-19. Ever since everybody's seen you can get these loans, people don't use their common sense. People's brains are small, and they think you can just get loans and not pay them back. Not the case. No, you can't do that, especially on the business side, because you know you can get larger amounts of money on the business side. So number 8 on the list, we have payment fraud. Payment fraud comes to play when criminals use someone else's payment information, like credit card details, to pay for goods or services without their consent. This is basically stealing money from the victims under their nose. The criminal gets sensitive information on the victim's payment details via the internet, via phishing, and other ways. To prevent yourself from being a victim from payment fraud, banks should implement multiple factor authorization systems for customers. They should also implement secure payment systems and educate their employees about the latest fraud detection methods. In addition, banks must use advanced fraud detection technologies and stay updated on the latest anti-fraud trends, which they don't, which allow a lot of these frauds and scams to happen. So we got to be more safe on both the business side, the company side, and the customer side. All right, so number 9 on the list, we got money laundering. Money laundering is the act of infusing illegal guided monies into the main financial system, cleaning it up to be used for legitimate transactions. It could also involve the concealing of illegally obtained funds or the transfer of them from one legitimate fund or the other, all in the bid of the hide of the origins of the money. Money laundering also involves the use of movement of the funds using shell companies, online wallets, and overseas bank accounts. Preventing money laundering is a big deal, as governments, law enforcement, and regulatory compliance agencies put forth the hefty fines and sanctions to organizations from doing this type of act. All right, so money laundering is more of a white collar crime because they the ones doing the bigger scams and the bigger frauds and getting more money, the millions and the dollars. All right, so money laundering is real. Then you got card skimming, and my mouth is extra dry. Get some flavor in that joint. Wire fraud, wire transfer fraud. This common type of bank fraud. Get it together. Hold on, get the camera together because I didn't mess it all up. My bad, y'all. Alright, so wire transfer fraud. This common type of bank fraud happens when cyber criminals trick someone into sending money to another cyber criminal. These criminals will have fun. The person found that personal information of their target. They then send legitimate looking communications to him or her, making requests, mostly using a fake or stolen identity of someone's affiliated or associated with the victim. The end game is to make the victim make the transfer themselves, so they can have access to his account through the transfer to their fake account. To prevent being a victim of wire transfer fraud, ensure that you are never pressured into sending money. Confirm the account details. Keep your personal information to yourself. Verify the details before transferring, and contact the company you are to send the money with directly. All right, so last on the list, we got empty ATM envelope deposits. All right, so when it comes to fraud, empty ATM envelope deposits have emerged as a area of worry. Criminals use this technique to make fictitious deposits into ATMs in order to launder money by inserting empty ATM envelopes. This is accomplished by exploiting the fact that many banks do not take the time to confirm the information included in the ATM deposit, which allows them to be used to conceal activity. To prevent empty ATM envelope deposits, banks can use technologies like image-based deposit systems. This deposit system helps eliminate empty envelope fraud, since the deposits are imaged and verified in a real time as they are loaded into an ATM. In the case of damaged or suspicious deposits, the system rejects the deposit until the bank has time to review them closely. All right, so it's a lot of different bank fraud techniques going on. How to prevent bank fraud: protect your banking information, protect yourself from identity theft, use checks and balances, monitor and report suspicious activities. What are signs of bank fraud? People making withdrawals at the same time or immediately after deposits, suspicious transactions, changes to account information, requests of sensitive information. So it's a lot going on out here in this world that people are doing to commit some type of bank fraud. And since COVID-19, people have been hitting up banks more regularly than normal because of credit. People are understanding that credit is the #1 money game in the world. You can get lump sums of money with credit. You can do a lot of things with somebody else's credit profile, and fraudsters and scammers are starting to realize that. So credit has been on the rise. People are starting to learn credit. Some people are learning credit to build synthetic identities. Some people are learning credit to build their business. Some people are learning credit for a lot of different reasons. So it's a real life game out here. This is information that's out there, public information. Like I said, this is on information purposes only, not telling anybody to do anything, but this is real things that's happening in the real life, and to be aware is to be more safe, right? So make sure you guys are taking the steps that you can to be more safe. Remember what I told y'all about the cards? If you've been using your debit card or the credit card in many places, you feel like, man, my card is on a lot of different databases, go get a new card so that information is no longer valid. So if it was to happen, a data breach, and that card information was compromised, it would no longer work because you have a new card and new information. Get LifeLock, start monitoring your accounts, freeze your accounts, your credit profiles, your FICOs, so no one can get anything in your name. Just staying 10 steps ahead of the fraudsters and the scammers will keep you safe, because this information is valuable information. If you don't know, then how would you know how to protect yourself? How would you know what to look for, right? So make sure you guys are paying attention to everything that's going on out here in the world. Make sure you guys are checking out the videos, taking this information, gaining the knowledge, and being more safe, more cautious, and more aware. Shout out to all my real King Hussle fans, supporters, subscribers out there, because without y'all, there'd be no me. You'll motivate me to keep going. You'll motivate me to keep dropping this sauce, and you'll motivate me to keep y'all entertained. So shout out to all of y'all. Anybody out there that's tired of being broke, because it ain't no joke, let's get to work. FaceTime 101 unlimited gems are $1,000, but for limited time only. I'm doing it for 600. Yes, 600. Cash App or Bitcoin payment. Once the 600 is on your Cash App or Bitcoin balance, send me a screenshot. Let me know you payment ready, and we will go from there. All right. No screenshots, no replies, no 21 questions, and please do not yo me. Also, make sure y'all tapping in to the crypto tour in-person limited gym, $6,500, $500 deposit. The rest of the money will be meeting in person. Make sure you guys are tapping in to my monthly mentorship, life coaching on the personal business side. Anything you need help with, any questions you need help with, anything you need to talk about or want to talk about, 24-hour service, 24/7 hour service, 24/7 service. Tap in, let's work. Book your seat because they filling up fast. Make sure y'all checking in and checking out my vendor platform on Telegram and the Potato App Millionaire Network. Still looking for people for the production company. Still looking for rappers, singers, models, producers, cameramen, women, gamer streamers, and content creators. Make sure you go follow me on all my YouTube channels and my Twitch. Make sure you go run the followers up on my IG, King Hussle X1M.2, for more free content, more free sauce, free information that's going to turn you into a boss, methods, giveaways, music, entertainment. Make sure y'all checking out the crypto world, getting y'all loads. 350, 500 in the Dow Wow. That being said, man, it's your boy King Hussle. Y'all know how to get down in these videos. I see you at the next lesson or video or live. Peace.